Hello everyone! In this lesson, we will learn how to set up open registration so that anyone can come to our site and sign up for a new account. Now don't worry, they're not signing up to become administrators, they will just become subscribers. And remember that the subscriber role basically cannot do anything. Now the reason we're going to do this is because it's the perfect exercise to learn more about WordPress permissions, security, and most importantly, how to handle creating, updating, and deleting user-specific content. In our case, in future lessons, we will allow these basic subscriber accounts to take notes in class right from within our website. So they'll be able to create, edit, and delete their own private notes. And a bit later on, we will also learn how to let these accounts like or heart or favorite a professor. And then on each individual professor page, we can show the general public how many hearts or likes a professor has received. Now I know these are not the most amazing features in the world, but trust me, these will give you the basic building blocks for making your site more interactive. And then once you've mastered these concepts, you can take the ball and run with it. Okay, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. In this lesson, we just want to focus on allowing open registration and then integrating it with our site layout. Alright, so the first step is to visit our admin dashboard. And towards the bottom of the sidebar, let's click on Settings. And from this general settings screen, about the sixth option down is Membership. So we see this checkbox, anyone can register. So let's just go ahead and check that checkbox. And then the very next field reads New User Default Role. And we definitely want to set this to Subscriber. Because remember, that's the role that basically cannot do anything. And if we are going to allow random strangers to come to our website and sign up, we definitely don't want to give them any actual capabilities right away. In other words, letting someone become a subscriber does not pose a security risk for us. Okay, then let's scroll down to the bottom and click Save Changes. And now, in a new private or incognito browser window, where you are not currently signed in to WordPress, let's go ahead and try to sign up for a new account. So up in the address bar, at the end of the root of your URL, you can just add on /wp-signup.php. And we see register for this site, and you just choose a username and email. However, you and I know that we can visit that URL, but the general public has no idea. So let's go back. And first, why don't we set things up so that this top right orange button that reads Sign Up, we should modify this so that it points to that URL that we just manually typed in. Let me show you what I mean. So open up your text editor. And within your theme folder, let's jump into header.php. And if we scroll down towards the bottom, here we see that link or button that reads Sign Up. So let's just update its href value to actually point towards the WordPress sign up page. So instead of the placeholder hashtag, let's open up PHP and echo out site URL. And within the parentheses, let's say /wp signup.php. And just to be extra secure, why don't we wrap this within escape URL? So right before site URL, say escape URL, open parenthesis, and then close out the parentheses sandwich right here. So we want a second closing parentheses. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. And then back in our private Chrome window, if I refresh and now click on the top right sign up, perfect. Now let's pretend that we are just a random stranger visitor and try to create a new account. Personally, I don't have an infinite number of alternate email addresses to use here, and I don't want to use fake bogus emails, so I'm actually going to go back in to the browser where I'm the main admin, and I'm going to delete my coworker Kitty Doe account from our previous lessons, just so that I can reuse that email address now that I'm trying to pretend that I'm a stranger. If you have 3 or 4 different email addresses that you own, then you do not need to do this. But back in this window where I'm the admin, let's hover over users, click all users, and here's that KittyDough coworker account. So I'm just going to click delete. And then WordPress asks me, what do you want to do with the content that that user created? You can either delete all of their posts and pages, or you can attribute it to another user. So I'm just going to choose that and assign it to my main admin account. Go ahead and delete that user. Okay, so now back in this window when I'm pretending I'm a random stranger, now I can use that alternate email address of mine. So let's pretend we're a random visitor. Pick whatever username you want. I'm going to choose KittyDough again. All right, let's try to register. Cool, so we see a message, registration complete, check your email. So WordPress will email you your password. However, a lot of local WordPress dev environments do not support email right out of the box. It's hit or miss. Throughout the years when I've used MAMP or XAMPP or WAMP or Vagrant, sometimes local dev email works and sometimes it doesn't. It really just depends on a combination of your local network settings, your security, your firewall. So if your local WordPress email servers work, then you can just go retrieve the email that it generated for you and find your password that way. But if your local dev email does not work, I'll show you a way around this so we can log in as our stranger random account. So back in the window where you are the main admin, just visit the users all users screen again and click on the new stranger account that you just generated. And if we scroll down to the very bottom, we see this area named New Password. So you can click this Generate button, and then feel free to type in a password that you can remember. And when you're done, click Update User. Okay, once you've done that, now back in the window where we are a stranger, we should be able to finally log in. So enter your credentials. And we get logged into the dashboard, but we don't actually have permission to do anything. So all we can do is see a list of the most recent blog posts, or we can click Profile to change our own first name, last name, so on and so forth. However, even though a subscriber can't do anything within the dashboard, I still don't want them to even be able to see the admin dashboard. So in just a few minutes, we can update things so that when a subscriber logs in, they get redirected to the front-end homepage instead. But first, let's focus on something that's even a bit more important. So as a subscriber, if we visit the front end of the website, now that we're logged in, these top right orange buttons don't make any sense. So right now, why don't we update our header.php so that it uses a bit of conditional logic? If you are not currently signed in, then we can display these buttons. But if you're signed in, then let's display a button that says log out. And on that button, we can also show the user's tiny little avatar photo. And once we've successfully set that up, then we can go ahead and completely hide the top admin bar for subscriber users. So that way our website doesn't feel like a generic WordPress site, but feels really custom and unique. So anyways, let's go into our header PHP file and make these buttons conditional so that someone can log out. So back in header PHP, down towards the bottom, we've got these links, right? This is the login and this is the sign up button. So right before or above those links, let's create a PHP block and let's create an if statement. So if parentheses, curly brackets. And for the condition that we want to check, let's say, is user logged in? And that's a function, so it gets its own parentheses, and it will either return true or false. So if it's true, then we just want to display a log out button here. But if it's false, then else we want to do something else. If it's false, we can just display the usual login and sign up buttons. So first, let's just cut and paste these two links, log in and sign up. Let's cut both of those to live within the else statement. Now I just accidentally pasted HTML into a PHP block. So to make this work, right after the opening curly bracket for else, we can just exit PHP. And then right before the closing curly bracket, we can just jump back into PHP. Okay, so that takes care of the else, but if someone is indeed logged in, let's just show them a log out button. In order to save a bit of typing, I'm just going to recycle and copy and paste the sign up link. So copy that, and then within the if statement, paste it in. Now again, this is HTML within a PHP block. So right after the opening curly bracket, close PHP. And right before this closing curly bracket, jump back into PHP. All right, now for the text that users actually click on, let's change it from sign up to log out. And then for the href value of where users will be taken if they click on it, let's leave the PHP echo, but let's delete this. So we've still got a PHP block, and let's just say echo, and WordPress has a special function named WP logout URL. Okay, now if we save that and jump back to the window where we are a subscriber, perfect. Now we just see a log out button. Now before I click this to test it out, I think it would be cool if on the side of this button we had the gravatar or little tiny avatar for this user. So that way they recognize the logout action is tied to them specifically. Let me show you how to do that. So back in the editor, on the logout button, let's give it an additional class. So after all of these classes that it already has, let's also say button -- with photo. And this is just for CSS styling reasons, which is specific to our website. This doesn't have anything to do with WordPress yet. Okay, and then within the actual A element, right before the words log out, I'm going to drop down to a new line so we can stay organized. And just for a couple of seconds, we can delete log out, and in its place, let's add 2 empty span elements. So span. Within the second span, we can say log out. And within the first span, let's output the user's avatar or profile image. So within this span, let's drop into PHP and echo out a WordPress function named getAvatar. And this function takes 2 arguments. The first is the user ID or email address that you want to look up. And the second argument is the size of the image that you want. So do you want a tiny 15 pixel image or do you want a larger 100 pixel image? So first is the user that we're interested in. So we can just say get current user ID, which is a function. Okay, and then for the second argument, comma, we just say how large of an image we want. So let's say 60, as in 60 pixels. Okay, and then finally, in order to get the CSS layout just right, let's give these 2 new spans classes. So for this first avatar span, let's give it a class of site header __ avatar. And let's give the logout span a class of button or btn __ text. Okay, now if we save that and jump back to the front end, perfect. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. That adds the user's gravatar to their logout button. If you've never heard of gravatar, it stands for globally recognized avatar. It's tied to your email address, and if you want to set one up for yourself, just Google for gravatar.com, and it's very intuitive to set up. The cool part is that it follows you around the entire internet, anywhere that you use that specific email address. Okay, now let's go ahead and actually test this button out. So if I click it, cool, it successfully logs me out. Now the next thing that I want to work on has to do with where subscribers are taken to when they log in. So at the moment, if I log back in really quick, it takes me to the admin dashboard. Now that might work for some websites, but I want my website to feel really custom and unique. So I don't want random stranger subscriber accounts to even be able to see the admin dashboard. Instead, when a subscriber logs in, why don't we just redirect them to our front end, to our home page? So I'm going to log out again. And right now, let's go write a bit of code that redirects subscribers out of the admin and onto the home page. So over in our text editor, within our theme folder, let's jump into functions.php. We could write this new code anywhere, but I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom. And just to stay organized, why don't we write a new comment? and say redirect subscriber accounts out of admin and onto homepage. Okay, and to make that actually happen, the first thing we want to do is add an action. So add action. The name of the WordPress event that we want to hook onto is admin init. And then the second argument is just a function that we're going to make up. We could call it whatever we want, but I'm going to name it redirect subs for subscribers. Redirect subs to front end. All right, then let's go ahead and create a function with that exact name. So function redirect subs to front end. Okay, and let's begin by writing an if statement. So if parentheses, curly brackets, and let's say only if the current user only has one role and that one role is subscriber, only if that is the case, then we want to redirect them to the home page, to the front end. So in order to find out information about the current user, what we can do is right before the if statement, we can create our own new variable, name it whatever we want. I will say our current user, and just set it to equal WP get current user. Okay, so now we can reference this within our if statement. So let's say if our current user, and we can look inside this object for an array named roles, and this contains all of the different roles that have been assigned to a user. So what I want to do here is I want to say if the current user only has one item in their roles array, so if I want to see how many items are in an array, you can just wrap the array in the PHP count tool. So count, open up parentheses, close parentheses. Okay, so if the part that I'm highlighting right now equals 1, that means the current user only has a single role. And then let's say, and if that single role is subscriber, well, then that's the condition we're checking for, and we can redirect them to the home page. So for the second condition, we'll say, and our current user, look inside the object for the roles array. Then let's look for the first item in the array and see if it equals the word subscriber. Okay, so if this condition evaluates to true, then within these curly brackets, there is a WordPress function we can use to redirect someone. So it's WP redirect, and you just provide where you want to send them to. So let's say site URL, and just send them to the home page or /. Okay, but then finally, after this line, still within the curly brackets, let's also say exit. And this basically tells PHP that it can stop spinning its gears once it redirects someone. Okay, so let's give this a save, and then let's try to log in again as our subscriber account. Perfect. Takes me to the home page instead of the admin dashboard. And now even if I try to go up into the address bar and manually type in WP admin, that also redirects me to the home page. Now the next thing I want to work on is hiding this top admin bar for subscribers. So to do that, back in our code, in order to save a lot of typing, let's just actually copy and paste and duplicate the action that we just added as well as its function. So copy that to your clipboard, paste it in and duplicate it. And within our new copy, the WordPress event that we want to hook onto is WP loaded. And let's provide a new unique function name. Let's say no subs admin bar, and then use this name for the actual function definition down here. Okay, and we can use the exact same condition check, only this time if it's true, let's delete the WP redirect and exit, and instead just say show admin bar, and within the parentheses say false. Cool, so let's save that, refresh the front end, perfect. The admin bar is gone, but only for subscriber accounts. So if I go back to my main window and visit the front end, since I'm logged in as an admin, I've still got the admin bar. Cool, that's gonna bring this lesson to a close. In our next lesson, we will learn how to customize the WordPress login screen so that it's not branded with the big WordPress logo. Let's keep things rolling, and I will see you then.